of drug utilisation research in this area, much of it done by eminent scientists and pharmacists sitting in this room. We know from this drug utilisation research that somewhere between 25% to 70% of hospital patients receive antibiotics during their stay. We also know that from this research that not all of that care is appropriate. And we know there are considerable issues around the use of antimicrobials. Now, we want to keep this important use of medicines for patients that need them, but we also want to reserve them and not use them where they're not necessary. The drug utilisation researchers in Kenya have shown that we think about 45 to 60% of these medicines are not used correctly in our hospital settings. There's a high use, and apologies, I'm going to talk pharmacist speak now. There's a high use of our third generation cephalosporins. They're the antibiotics that we want to keep for our most ill patients. There's high use of broad spectrum antibiotics. And again, they're the antibiotics that we know contribute to resistance and that we want to keep for our sickest patients. And this we all know from our drug utilisation research. So we're already seeing that nexus of how we can inform our greatest needs. We also know from drug utilisation research that there are efforts and successful strategies to reduce antimicrobial use in this country. And we know that the research of Alexander Aiken has shown that implementation of national and local guidelines has actually reduced antibiotic use by up to 40%. So again, our researchers have given us the evidence that we need to solve these problems. Where I'm going to leave you with the challenge is, where do we go next? So we've talked about drug utilisation research to identify medication-related problems. We've talked about drug utilisation research to help us find the solutions to medication-related problems. And Kenya is facing an exciting area. We know in July that Kenya will be implementing social health insurance. We know in 2017 that Kenya has implemented the National Policy on Antimicrobial Resistance. And with the two of those together, we have the opportunity for the first time ever to think about changes over time. We're going to have access to information that researchers can use to track policy and to see where the greatest needs are. And I'm going to encourage our drug utilisation researchers to continue identifying medication-related issues, to continue looking for strategies, but also to rise to the opportunities presented by these new data sources and start thinking about how can we monitor the success of policy over time and the needs of policy over time. So that's the thoughts for the future. On behalf of the Society of Pharmacoepidemiology, we are committed to building pharmacoepidemiology research capacity in Africa and particularly in Kenya. We are committed to helping local researchers and local pharmacists to improve health outcomes and patient care. And we are delighted to be here as partners in this journey. We would like to invite you to join us and not just us to join you. So I'd like to say thank you to PSK. Thank you to Kenya for putting this opportunity to work together with international researchers. Thank you to my ISPI colleagues, both my African colleagues and my international colleagues, who have come here and committed to changing health outcomes. And finally, happy birthday, PSK.
Your Excellency, Honorable Waziri, thank you. One of the things I was meant to do when I was up here was welcome you all. Karibuni nyote. All right. Your Excellency, there are 2 billion people in this world who do not have access to quality medicines. Half a billion of those live here in Africa, where we are. Affordability of medicines. Even before they go to the hospital, they are thinking, can I afford what is there? Yeah? The last time I went, I paid X amount. So we've been meeting here discussing some of those solutions. The other thing is availability. They say that when I go to the hospital, will I find, yeah? Before your government came, KEMSA was supplying 40% of what the counties needed. We have seen since you came in, it has improved. It's at 70, yeah? That means 3 times they came, out of 10, they'll miss medicine, yeah? But that is better than where you found it, and that's great progress. Accountable. Accountable means that there are medicines in this country that enter, we don't know their quality, yeah? Is it accountable? The person serving them, the patient, are those people qualified to do that, yeah? And is the care acceptable? They say that over 50% of the patients who get the medicine don't choose it the right way. So that's why we're meeting in a conference like this to learn knowledge and skills and share. How are you helping your patients get better? Yeah? So what does this data say? This is what the data say. You started at the top with 10 patients receiving medicine. Yeah? There's an issue of availability. We've talked about that. Accountability, adherence. Unamona, the patient there at the end gets poor outcomes. The medicine is not working. Because it's one thing to bring medicines in the country. It's another for the patient to use it well. That's where now professionals like pharmacists come in. And in this room, you have 700 of them. In the country, you have 5,000 pharmacists and other professionals. Your Excellency, we also have, we live in an environment where there are some policy gaps. In legislation, National Assembly, we have bills coming into Parliament with no input from the, or the input of the Ministry of Health is disregarded on matters of national interest like medicines that drives the economy and also keeps our people healthy. We find that these bills go without input from the stakeholders, the MOH and PPB and PSK. Particularly, we have the issue of Kenya Drug Authority Bill that's currently in Parliament. We would like for you as the Deputy President to look into that. We have changes that were made to the KEMSA Act that removed professionals. In Kenya, in the region, you have Ethiopia with their central stores has 400 pharmacists. In Rwanda, they have 200 pharmacists in their central stores. Yeah? That's how they're building efficiencies and building knowledge. In Kenya, we have 7 pharmacists, yeah? And we think we need that improved so that we are able to, and this is actually an opportune time because we have KEMSA CEO being recruited. It would be good to take us to the old days where KEMSA actually worked under the leadership of a pharmacist. Asante, najua umefurahia hiyo. Kwa sababu wamesoma, ni taxes ya inchi imewasomesha, wangependa kuji-apply. Yeah? The second one is a government policy. We have indiscriminate access to narcotics and antibiotics. Yeah? From the veterinary shops, away from the regulation of the Ministry of Health. I think with your leadership, we would like the 2 ministries to for that to be under one agency as per the Health Act. Health Act 2017 says medicine should be under one single regulator, both human and animal. It is one health. Levels of practice. Of course, I know this one is dear to you, Your Excellency, I almost forgot, dependence on imported medicines. As I shared earlier, to me you are like a visionary who the Bangladesh people had in 40 years ago, who sat down as elders and said, we have to reverse importation from 70% to 30%. And today, Bangladesh imports only 30% of less. We think you can do that in 10 years. Levels of practice. Level of practice means our profession is struggling in terms of career development. You start as a pharmacist, a pharmaceutical technologist, there's no incentive to be a pharmacist, there's no incentive to be a specialist pharmacist. What happens is the country suffers because they're not getting the right expertise, because what a pharmaceutical technologist does, what a pharmacist can do, pharmtech does, and those kind of things. So we would like for Madam Waziri, and I know she'll speak into this, how can we institute levels of practice so that there's incentive to move up the ladder? So what is the impact of these policy gaps? You can see the supply chain, it's messed. Yeah? What you can see in red there is counterfeit, illegal, dangerous products. They're entering our market, yeah? Because you have bills that are coming to law without input from the Ministry of Health. The green one is where you're seeing is the right channel, and the yellow is acceptable, but still question mark. You also have a lot of stealing of medicines. All this contributes to delayed care. So the patient at home thinks, will I really get that care? Yeah? Last time I took that medicine, I didn't get well. So you find the patient comes when it's too late. Yet it was something a simple antibiotic could have treated, but they're coming now, it has become a problem with the brain and things like that. It is reversible. Next. So we're looking at innovations in the levels of practice, and this is what I was explaining earlier. We have 9,000 pharmaceutical technologists, we have 5,000 pharmacists, and the current structure, we only have to wait until the topmost is no longer there. Either they were fired or they passed away sadly before we can move up the ladder. So as a pharmaceutical technologist, I have no incentive to become a pharmacist. Yeah, and the country is struggling. So we are looking for, and the outcome of that is chaos, death, high cost of care, poor availability of medicines, and poor value to the patient. What are the interventions we are looking at? And we know that the ministry is working together with us. We've been supporting the ministry. Scheduling of medicines based on the level of training. Good pharmacy practice guidelines, costed pharmacy benefit packages, and a national pharmaceutical policy to bring us all together. The outcome of that is what you call will be able to achieve WHO maturity level 3, where we and our products here locally will be competitive in the market. Our competence will be the highest. Kenyans, we are really learned people, but there is no incentive in our pharmacy sector to be able to move like what you're seeing in the fish diagram. From in training 7,000 and you produce 3,000, yeah? So that's what we are looking towards building. Next slide. At this point, allow me to introduce PSK. It's an umbrella body of pharmacists. We have a threefold mandate: enhancing ethics, and that's why we've been supporting the local administration with crackdown on illegal outlets through our Yumba Kumi, what we call self-regulation, and supporting also PPB. Healthcare advocacy. We have been in the front line in the past, and we will be again, supporting you on SHIF and SHA, so that we can help people on board, yeah? Also, we'll also help providers on board to provide that care that you actually need to provide, and promote welfare of pharmacists. Where are pharmacists? Majority of pharmacists are in public sector. Public sector, in mkono. These are all your employees, Your Excellency, and let the hands remain up. Yeah, wako hapa walisikia wamekuja kukuona wakusidikishe. So when you are here, please feel safe. You're with your people. Supply chain is where we are also there. We source and distribute medicines, but it's not just wholesaling. It's about being responsible for the quality of that medicine. Yeah. Next. What achievements have we had with working together with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board? We've done policy, advocacy, and reforms. We've worked together with the ministry, and from time to time we give this input. We've developed a competence framework that now gave birth to the levels of practice. We've drafted bills, the Health Products and Technologies Bill and the Pharmacy and Practice Bill. They are domiciled with the Ministry of Health, and we are looking forward to those bills becoming light of day. We also do local tree planting across our 16 branches. We've also done a lot of enhanced quality assurance of our systems. You know the biggest lab in the country is National Quality Control Laboratory, and it's headed by pharmacists there. And that's the work they do to assure the quality that is locally manufactured gives, that together with the work that the Pharmacy and Poisons Board does to ensure that what is here is of right quality. Next. Your Excellency, you're our father, so whenever your father is here, you also have to come with some requests. Yeah. because in our quest to enhance patient care through legislation and policy shaping, professional development and maintaining standards, there's 5 things that we really need to hear from you and support us on this. Legislative agenda to boost global competitiveness of our locally manufactured products and the local competence. Yeah, we need the ministry and the government to throw its weight around the bills, KDA and practice bill, for this to be government-led bills backed by cabinet. We need the rationalization of health products and technologies in the country for them to be domiciled under one ministry, the Ministry of Health, because all health is one health. It's all human, whether it's animal, whether it's what, it all comes down to the human being. Your Excellency, as matters of national boards and bodies, utukumbuke when you are nominating into NACADA, because we need professional competencies to influence the narcotic issues at NACADA. ADAC, the anti-doping agency, we are having our athletes. Kenya produces the best athletes in the world. Kenya produces the best athletes in the? We would like to see how can we have pharmacists there to ensure our athletes do not struggle with, I took a cough syrup, then I was burnt. Yeah, we want to see that. The dairy board regulates the breast milk substitutes, which are also essentially medicines. How do we have expertise of pharmacists there? We like to boost the Nyumba Kumi initiative. We have 16 branches. PSK over the 60 years have never been housed in its own place. As our father, we'd like for you to look into it and see how you can donate some of the land across the country to help us put our offices. Your Excellency, you may not know this, but when you are running in 2023, yeah? Is that 2022 elections, yeah? As pharmacists, we came together and we looked at how can we help government with competent pharmacists in parliament. So we came together as individuals and we fielded 17 candidates in various positions, from deputy governors, MPs, and I would like to proudly say that we got 2 MCAs elected in Murang'a County Assembly. We also got in the County Assembly of Kitui, and we know you mentor many young politicians. My term has come to an end. My term has come to an end. I am free, and you can actually kama hapo Dagoretti, because mimi ni mkazi wa Dagoretti, I went to high school there. Naweza saidia watu wa Dagoretti North. Also Dr. Kamamia Murisho is there. Naweza simama wave. Yeah, he's in Nyeri County. He can actually run, and many others. And kama unaweza wafikiria, unaweza wapoint mahali waki keep engine warm ahead of the next election. Honorable CS Health, we are talking about how can we make medicines accessible, affordable, available, accountable and acceptable. Yeah. We know that you have been looking into the following issues. We are looking at the revised national pharmaceutical policy. We'd like for that to be released so that piecemeal legislations are not being made, they're all being guided by the national policy. The last policy was made in 2012, and you know it's on your table, and you actually have a work plan to make this, so we'd like for that to be fast-tracked. We'd also like to fast-track the costed pharmacy services benefit packages. This will make medicines affordable so that it is reimbursed by SHA. KEMSA compliance, we've talked about this, I will not bring it up because that is already agreed upon. Gazette, scheduled medicine guidelines to make healthcare and medicines accountable. Who is meant to handle what? Yeah. Fast track the good pharmacy practice guidelines so that we can have levels of practice and career the toa lock so that we can all progress. Whether I am a pharmacy technologist, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a specialist, we can all progress there and the patients will benefit. The last one is establish the pharmacy care centers at each of the primary care networks so that patients can access medicine therapy management services. I think at this point is where, before I invite you, Madam Waziri, you can go to the next one. I would like to say, ndio tumeuliza, but we are saying we are here to support you. One of the questions when I asked is, how can we help you? Yeah? And you told us that what is really critical for you is how can we, and I think this is my call to all of you seated here, how can we help the government increase recruitment into the SHIF and SHA, yeah? How do we get users? So we need advocates, we need policy positions, we need papers written, we need stories of success shared so that we can actually support the minister. The other thing that the minister needs is how do we get providers onboarding? There's a lot of unease around deni yetu ya NHIF italipwa tukienda. How many of you have hospitals here? Work in hospitals that serve NHIF? Yeah? Some of the things that they have said is they are a bit uneasy, and I think you can assure them that hiyo pesa iko na italipwa, because it's not a personal project. It's actually the nation that is moving ahead. So the work ahead of us is hard, it's big, but they say it's too big, we can't miss. Let us give it our best effort and we'll actually succeed. So be upstanding kindly. Okay. Oh, they don't. But please just, okay, all right, no need to stand. That is just me going off the cuff. But Madam Waziri, please join, yes. Makofi lakini.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, together with your officials and all the members, the President of the International Society of Pharmacists, or I didn't quite get it. Who else is here? My Deputy Director General, Dr. Matende Chere, senior government officials, my colleagues and friends, and all the members of PSK, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It gives me real joy to be here with you today to preside over this 60th anniversary celebration for PSK. Ideally, Your Excellency, I'm supposed to be a member of PSK. If it was a political rally, I would have said my opponents. But gladly, I don't have opponents here. I want to believe it's a technical hitch. Your Excellency, I was saying, ideally I'm supposed to be a member of PSK, but apparently my education was not recognized, and therefore Dr. Sioy and company did not register me to practice. But you know, God works in miraculous ways. And now that we are here with you today, and I know in cabinet we passed a resolution on recognition of prior learning Your Excellency, I would like to direct COE to give me my practicing license so that I can be recognized. But anyway, that is on a light note. I'm really pleased to be here with you. And I want to say that this government, really, Your Excellency, has recognized the health sector and specifically the subsector of pharma. Your Excellency, in this government, we have a whole state department of public health and professional standards. And that is your home, you as professionals. So that is recognition number one. Number two, Your Excellency, under my leadership in the ministry, for the first time, we have a Deputy Director General who is a pharmacist. And the third thing, Your Excellency, is that we now have a Directorate of Health Products and Technologies, headed by one of your own, a pharmacist. So I believe, Your Excellency, that we are in the right direction. We have recognized the pharma subsector, and because I know that we cannot drive this healthcare forward without your participation and without carrying you along. Your Excellency, we have continued to have very good collaborations with the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. I have hosted the officials in my office when there was a lot of discussion on the KDA bill, and we put our heads together on what is now in Parliament. I know as it goes through the process, some of the things get dropped, others get added, but we'll work together to ensure that at the end of the day, we get a good bill for this country. Your Excellency, also as a first, it is during this government's time that we now have a formulary. We did not have it. It is during this time that we have one. And I know the Directorate is now working on ensuring that we get a catalog, so that then some of the issues that you have raised on scheduling and all other products, then we can, from the catalog, then we can determine even the benefits package for the pharmacy. Your Excellency, moving forward, we are working very hard on implementation of universal health coverage. And one of our key pillars is on health commodity security. And that is the supply chain that the President talked about, the issue of quality, Your Excellency. This is where we take care of it. And I'm happy that so far we have done governance reforms at KEMSA. It is not operating optimally, but I know with the efforts that we are putting in place, we should be able to operate optimally. The other thing under health commodity security, Your Excellency, is the issue of local manufacturing, which you are passionate about, and I will let you to speak about it. But of importance to this team is our achievement of maturity level 3 for the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And I think we are on track. Dr. Sio is here. We have talked in the morning, and he has assured me that we have an assessment in July, and he knows that he has done what needs to be done. Your Excellency, the other thing that we are focusing on under our pillars is our health professionals. I keep saying we can have all the best infrastructure, good hospitals. We can have the best equipment, but if we don't take care of the people to use the equipment and work in those facilities, then we'll not be able to provide the required health services for our people. So we are working together with these teams. And Your Excellency, now we are at the stage of implementation of our Social Health Authority. So as I stand before you, esteemed members of PSK, is to ask you of your support for this. And there's something in it for you. One of the things that we have done that previously was not there with the NHIF is the empanelment of pharmacy services. That now community pharmacies are going to be part of the primary care network. You are going to be registered as a service provider. And that is very important. So in this social health authority, there is something for you, especially those who are running community pharmacies. So I want to call upon you to support us, because then you are the people who are going to fill the prescriptions. Remember, we have a special fund, the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. And you are the people who are going to fill those prescriptions. Before I invite you, Your Excellency, I would wish to make a clarification. We have SHA and we have SHIF. We have a law, the Social Health Insurance Act of 2023. Is the one that gave birth to a body called Social Health Authority, the umbrella. The Social Health Authority has 3 funds. It has the Primary Health Care Fund, where Kenyans can access services at level 1, 2, 3 without having to pay out of pocket. Then we have the Social Health Insurance Fund, where we are saying you are required to pay 2.75% of your income. And I want to assure you, we'll make good use of it. And we have a third fund, the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. I thought it's good that I clarify it to you so that then you are sure what is SHA. SHA is the house, and under the house we have the SHIF, the fund. I would now like to request you all to be upstanding so that we welcome His Excellency, the Deputy President. Can we put together our hands for him? Clap and clap and clap, 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 clap until he gets here. Clap harder, clap harder. And you know, I still stick to the mantra that the Deputy President is a truthful man, and I can confirm for sure he is. Welcome.
Thank you, Waziri. Please be seated. The Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Nakumicha, the President of the International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineering, Professor Lisa Pons, the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, Dr. Machogu. I'm under you for the time we are here. The CEO of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, professionals and practitioners, good afternoon. Let me read what my people and I have put together. Then I can say a few things from my heart. Let me start by congratulating the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya as you turn 60 years. 60 years is a major milestone for an institution, as it is for an individual. To build an institution that sustained itself for 60 years is not easy. It requires people of strength and character who care and who go above and beyond the call of duty. On behalf of our President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, I wish to acknowledge PSK for the immense contribution you have made to the health sector since independence. You have worked with our nation's most at risk in the fight against disease, one of the 3 enemies of the nation identified by our founding fathers after we gained freedom from colonialists. Distinguished professionals, our celebration today is not so much a festivity, but a solemn occasion to pause and look back at the 60-year journey, an opportunity to reflect on challenges and what we can do better, a chance to refocus and give priority to strategies that contribute to the health sector and to the Ruto administration's plan of transforming Kenya. Under the plan, universal health coverage and manufacturing feature prominently. the government banks on universal health coverage, UHC, which was unveiled during the 60th Mashujaa Day celebrations last year to ease access to quality health care for all. In manufacturing, Kenya is setting its sights on becoming a leading regional hub for the production of medicines and healthcare supplies to reduce costs and ensuring accessibility to all citizens. The theme of this conference, Pharmacists Transforming Policy, Practice and Patient Safety, is therefore spot on and resonates with the ambitions of the Kenya Kwanza administration as well as the aspirations of our people. Distinguished professionals and all those present, to achieve the quality that we seek in UHC, the society is a crucial actor in instilling professional standards. This is besides supporting other agencies like the Ministry of Health, Pharmacy and Poisons Board, the Veterinary Medicine Directorate, among others, in ensuring products are safe, secure, effective, accessible, and affordable for all. That is why we are excited that among other legal and policy frameworks, PSK has ignited and sustained a robust discourse among professionals, other sector actors, and the public on the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill 2022. Among other matters, the bill proposes the establishment of a single regulatory body on human and animal medicines in fulfillment of the Health Act 2017. This is important as we strive to consolidate and strengthen our regulatory systems in the supply chain. Furthermore, this move will help us meet the World Health Organization's maturity level 3 standards of a stable, well-functioning and integrated regulation system, while similarly boosting the competitiveness of locally manufactured medicines. Distinguished professionals and participants, in this conference of global representation, we are creating and strengthening our local, regional, and international networks of addressing the menace of substandard and counterfeit drugs and other medical supplies that threaten the lives of our people. We cannot deliver universal health coverage when up to 30% of drugs are fake. We cannot spur local manufacturing when fake and counterfeit drugs are scooping up to 15 billion Kenya shillings of the market share. The Pharmacy and Poisons Board, the Veterinary Medicine Directorate, in partnership with other agencies, must protect the market to attract and boost investor confidence in manufacturing. This is through an intensive, coordinated, and sustained crackdown on crooked suppliers and dealers. I hope they are not in this conference. This will drive economic growth in diverse ways. Furthermore, a vibrant manufacturing sector will reduce our dependence on imports, enhance self-reliance, besides propelling us to a net exporter of medicines, especially to our African sister states. This is how we'll take a bite of the over $2.6 trillion annual expenditure of our continent, which currently imports between 70 and 80% of medicines, with Kenya spending up to $550 million annually in importation. A strong manufacturing sector will remarkably reduce foreign currency expenditure. Additionally, this will build and fortify the supply chain resilience and reduce the negative impacts of global disruptions as witnessed during the COVID-19. Distinguished professionals and participants, the fight against fake and counterfeit drugs goes hand in hand with the war on drug abuse. Our administration has intensified the war on drugs and substance abuse, and in doing so has adopted a robust collaboration between and among state and non-state agencies. Drug abuse is rampant in our society today. Drugs are also used by our children, brothers, sisters, even our parents. The young people are, unfortunately, at the highest risk. Regrettably, some of your members, some seated here, have been complicit in this vice, facilitating the sale of controlled medicines in contravention of prescribed protocols to the youth. I urge the society members at your individual level to join us in the war on drugs. Admittedly, there are cases of pharmacists leasing out their licenses at a fee or leaving behind their licenses to running pharmacies and chemists. We know of some pharmacies who operate back-end services, trading in counterfeit medicines. Such practices erode public trust in your profession, and I believe that the intervention of this society is critical in stopping these undesirable practices. You have the power and the clout to censure your members while still protecting them when they are under threat or attack for upholding the professional ethos. This delicate balance serves as the greatest test of professional body identity. Our professional bodies often narrowly focus on economic self-advancement, which they have a right to do, but which in the end has led to the neglect of the public good. We often see not of the public to whom they serve, but their members who abuse their professional positions and compromise their oaths of office. I challenge the PSK to raise this bar, not only for the good of the profession, but for the country in general. Continuously demand a higher standard of yourself and your members. We call for a joint approach between the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, the Veterinary Medicine Directorate, PSK, the Kenya Pharmaceutical Association, the Veterinary Board of Kenya, and other relevant agencies in aiding unregulated access and use. I request the pharmacy and the veterinary subsectors to work with the government in saving and sobering our nation, especially the youth. Distinguished professionals and participants, in conclusion, let me again underscore the importance of professional bodies in achieving national aspirations and the Vision 2030 and the Ruto administration's plan for a better and prosperous Kenya. I believe this conference provides a good opportunity for you to engage and deliberate on various futuristic topics, regional and indeed a global focus. I wish you fruitful deliberations and looking forward to actionable outputs of this conference that will transform the health sector. I now declare the International Scientific Conference 2024 officially open. Asante. Hii kizungu saa ingine natuumiza lakini tunang'ang'ana. Sasa hii maisha ni kung'ang'ana. Kila mtu apambana na hali yake. Tumia dawa hii, wacha hii, tumia hii ni mzuri na sisi tung'ang'ane na kuongoza Kenya. I want to say thank you very much for inviting me. I know you wanted to listen to me. Hata mimi niko na maneno kidogo na nyinyi. First and foremost, I want to express our government's respect for professionals and professional bodies. Our professionals are very important for the development of our country and the well-being of the Kenyan people. The years you took through school up to university are not in vain. They must count for something in supporting humanity and improving the lives of the people of Kenya. Pharmacists play a very important role in the health sector, and doesn't matter how big a hospital is, how experienced the doctors are, how modern the equipment is, how good is the nursing care, how clean is the hospital, how expeditious is the billing system. Without a strong support of a working pharmacy, you don't have a hospital. And all treatments, the diagnosis, the theater, whatever it is, at the end of it, after admission, the final stop before you go home is a pharmacy. That tells you the importance of your profession. You are really the backbone of our health sector, and therefore it is critical that you must be very professional. You must be very professional, because if you dispense the wrong drug, the whole value chain from a consultation through diagnosis and tests and all that, if you dispense the wrong drug, all that effort is in vain. We therefore call for a very professional and robust body, that you are members, to support our health system. I want to say that I'm leading the fight against drugs and substance abuse. And one of our weak points are pharmacists and chemists. Some properly licensed and run by professionals. Yet, they dispense drugs that are supposed to be dispensed against prescription over the counter. We have a lot of young people, even in this town of Mombasa, getting a lot of syrups and mixing them with other things to get a very dangerous combination that is harmful to our children. I want to call upon all those professionals who run pharmacies and chemists to live up to your oath and just do the right thing. Please don't dispense drugs over the counter that are supposed to be dispensed upon a prescription. Again, let us put a good record of all drugs that we dispense. That is for licensed establishments. Again, there are very many other quacks who have opened pharmacies and chemists that are not licensed and that are not run by people who are professional. I want to request that you as society works with us, and we are willing to pair you up with our county security and intelligence teams to crack down on unlicensed pharmacists and chemists, shut them down, destroy the drugs, and take the people who are running them to jail where they belong. And let's start with here in Mombasa. We have a very good county team here led by the county commissioner, who are very active. And county commissioner, I really want to thank you and your team for what you have done to run the drug barons here in Mombasa out of town. Lakini bado finya hawa. Sukumeni hiyo watu kabisa wapotee. Those are very bad people. Please sit down. Those people who sell drugs to our children, those are very bad criminals. And they have no place here on earth. And I'm sure they have also no place in heaven. You must run those people to the sea. That's where they belong. Usukume hii watu mpaka kwa bahari huko. And that is happening here in Mombasa. And they are crying. Na bado. So please, I want to request this society. Talk to us. We are ready to give you law enforcement officers across our 47 counties to help you shut down all unlicensed facilities across the country. Again, those professionals who lease out their licenses, hata nyinyi ni watu baya sana. Hiyo license umepewa ni yako utumie. Sasa license yako unapatia mtu mwingine ambaye hajahitimu. How do you give a fellow just there to use your license? Kama alitaka kuwa na chemist yangeenda university asome. Aumie huko na mambo ya kati na nini na ile mambo iko huko. Sasa tu. Sasa wewe umesoma na hii masomo vile iko ngumu. Mtu tu atoke huko kwa sababu ako na pesa unampatia license yako. It's very unfair to yourself. How do you allow a character who has not been to school to use your license and claim to be a pharmacist? And this is a difficult course at the university. I used to see fellows who are doing pharmacy crying there in Chiromo and Kenyatta. Wakisikia mtihani na karibu wanaharibika kichwa. Sisi watu na literature na nini, unajua sisi ni watu ya juu chini. Unangangana tu na kizungu unapita. Lakini unajua hii maneno ya medicine and pharmacy, you know there is no guesswork. You must get it right because you are dealing with human lives. How do you, after spending those years, all the way from primary to high school to university, and getting a license to practice, and you give it to another character for some little money? I think it's very insulting to yourself. And that is how we have ruined our people. Because those are merchants. They don't care. They have no professional ethics. They will sell anything to anybody as long as they make money. Please, I want to beg you with tremendous respect as your leader, please let's be professional and let us also respect our profession. Tujivunie our profession. Don't allow merchants and thugs to get into such a noble profession. It's very unfair to your profession. Mujivunie. Muko tu watu 5,000. Why do you want to bring other characters kwa hiyo club ya watu 5,000 in Kenya out of 50 million? I'm surprised that you are not, because our constitution is very clear that public participation is compulsory in any legislative proposal. And before it is debated and passed into a bill in the National Assembly or in the Senate for that matter, there is public participation. And this society, in bills that are related to your profession, must be accorded an opportunity to have an input. So we'll find out with the minister here what could be the problem, because that I'm a little bit shocked, because it's a constitutional requirement. And in fact, you have seen many bills that went through Parliament without public participation have been thrown out by the High Court. So we'll find out and we'll make sure that in any bill before our two houses of Parliament that needs to be discussed, that have something to do with your profession, as a professional body, you are given an opportunity to have a serious input on that bill. That one we shall do, and we'll find out what is about. And we'll find out what is about. Now you, Susan, I'm not saying because she's here. She is very committed to her job, and she's very passionate. So I don't find you having any problem engaging her for the national pharmaceutical policy. Then we'll take it to the main cabinet and we'll adopt the policy so that we work within a certain framework. And I agree, if you didn't give her a certificate in pursuit of the new policy of prior learning, please, kama mkiona ametosha, muandikie tu karatasi halafu endelee. So that thing of prior learning is a good thing. Some of us don't even have to go back to school. Yeah, now ile kazi tumefanya ni mupime tu, mnatuandikia, tunachukua karatasi, tunaendelea. In terms of involvement of your membership in boards that deal with your issues, Waziri, I think, is a fair request. I think it is very fair. Pharmacy and Poisons Board, they should be there. Mambo ya Nakada, they should be there. Counterfeit Authority, they should be there. I think it's a fair request. Yeah? And I think I'll discuss with Waziri, I'll discuss with my boss, tukubaliane, so that when we are renewing these boards, mkuje huko hiyo maneno mmesoma msemee huko ndani. Instead of talking outside, you come and make change from within so that we are on the right trajectory. I think it's a very fair request, and I think that one we shall implement. Mambo hiyo ya nyumba 10 ya kwamba mngetaka tutafutie nyinyi pahali ya kuweka maofisi yenu. We'll have to work with our governors. You know, most of the land in the counties now belongs to it's held in trust on behalf of the public by the counties. Again, luckily, I am in charge of intergovernmental relations. I'm the one who coordinates the 2 levels of government, the county governments and the national government. So it's a request that I can be able to put to the governors. What I request, Mr. President, you can come with a few people to ongea tukubaliane, and then I'll figure out how to talk to these governors. Pole pole, najua ni watu wamechaguliwa, ni watu wa kuongeleshwa pole pole, hatutumii kifua, tunaongelesha hao pole pole. So come, we see what we can do. So mimi nimeshukuru sana. Najua sitaki kusema mambo mingi. Nataka ni mkinikubalia nirudi Nairobi, nikae alafu niende kwa village. Najua kila mtu wako mahali alitoka. So kila mtu wako na kwao. Hii Mombasa hii ni kiwanja ya kuja kutafuta riziki. Hii Nairobi tunaishi ni kiwanja ya kutafuta riziki. Lakini mwisho kabisa, si unajua bahari utarudi. So I don't know why anybody would have a problem with where we all come from. Because somebody comes from somewhere. And that is the truth. And everybody should be proud of your origin and your identity. And nobody should ever make you feel embarrassed about your origin and identity. I'm talking English here because some of you may not understand my language. Sindio? I'll talk Swahili when I go where people cannot understand. But if I go to the village, what business do I have talking to people of the village English and I'm not a Mzungu? Si hiyo inakuwa ni maringo. Sisi na majivuno. Sasa wewe unaenda kwa kijiji kila mtu mnaongea lugha moja. So why would you want to address those people in English? Ama Kiswahili. But if you come like this conference, we talk English because tunaongea tunaelewana. Sasa wewe machovu ukirudi Kisii, hata kama what business do you have going to address those people there? Si hiyo itakuwa ni majivuno na maringo. Tuache madharau. Tuache simple people, because it's good to be simple. And let's not pretend that we are what we are not. And nobody should ever feel embarrassed about your origin, your identity and your language. Hizo vitu ulipatiwa na Mwenyezi Mungu bure without any application. And God never told you where to be born and among which people. Hiyo ni mambo ya Mwenyezi Mungu ndiyo alipanga. So mimi nimeshukuru sana sana sana. I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. Let's assist each other. You are a very critical component of our health sector. And this sector cannot work without you. I have seen the scheme of service. I agree. Ya kwamba that if there is no career progression, munaweza cover all. I think waziri, we need to look at it so that people can feel motivated to rise and study. I think so. I think let's create, tutengeneze hiyo chief pharmacist, deputy chief pharmacist, senior deputy chief pharmacist, assistant pharmacist, nini weka vitu mingi hapo. Si iko namna hiyo? Yeah, so that people can aspire to go up. Sasa ukiweka tu kamoja watu wote hawezi bebana hapo. So weka hiyo ma deputy, senior assistant, nini kuja mpaka chini, so that people can be able to grow and grow well. So I really want to thank you a lot for listening to me, for giving me this opportunity. And you know, for some of us ambaye hatujasoma sana, masomo yetu ni kidogo, when you are among learned people, it's very good. It's very good. Because those of us who studied biology, there were two processes. One was called diffusion, another one was called osmosis. The movement of knowledge from low concentration to high concentration. So, for my case, by just sitting here, I have benefited from the movement of high concentration to. May God bless you and bless you.
Your Excellency, kindly remain on the dais for a gift session that will be presented by Dr. Louis Somoni, and also we'll ask the CS Health to join in the photo. And also she'll be receiving a gift from Dr. Ivy Latemba. Nikiwa basi Waswahili husema mcheza ngoma vizuri hutuzwa. Makofi tafadhalini. Also the NEC members, kindly let's prepare for a brief photo session.